on to another book that was much better. We both enjoyed a lot better. It's much more integral to the things we've been reading, but was also a pretty easy read to help out with the yearly goal.
Oh yeah, this one, and yeah, there's a lot they're gonna be helping out with us for.
So up next
we got Dawnshard.
Dawnshard, Brandon Sanderson. This is 3.5 in the Stormlight archive. So this is the next book after Oathbringer, which we just did a video on that I just recently read. I did kind of the same. When I finished Words of Radiance, I went straight into Edge Dancer. When I finished Oathbringer, I went straight into Dawnshard, and now I'll read a few more things before hitting Rhythm of War. But I like hitting the small novellas right after because, like, when you get done with a Sanderlanche from one of the actual books, like not really the novellas, even though they do kind of have them too, it's like hard to like not go straight into the next thing. So it's nice to have these novellas so I can just read that and not go straight into Rhythm of War yet because I need, a little break from the Cosmere.
They definitely add a lot of
yeah
important stuff to where if you didn't read them, I guess like you're still good, but
well, it gives you a little bit of character development, and it gives you, I mean, this one especially, Edge Dancer maybe not. I guess Edge Dancer, the important thing was like you got a lot of nail, like him described. And
yeah, like where Zeth went.
Yeah, where Zeth went. Like you get to know more about
Lift, which
Zeth
who
before
cares? Oathbringer. Yeah, it gives you more context on Lift and what's going on. It gives you more like perspective on the world with Azir.
And actually, I just realized it also gives you a first look. I think that was the first time that you saw one of the Sleepless, who are front and center in this book. Because remember, Lift sees a Sleepless in the town when the Kremling's like, that's her, right? That's Lift that sees that in Edge Dancer. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That's I'm thinking right?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds... Dude, so much happens in those books where it's like, dude, ridiculous. You could tell me almost anything.
I think it was Kaladin that saw it. I don't know.
And I'm like, dude, I think it was.
Right after he had sex with Dalinar. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows what happened.
Right after, yeah.
But, okay, so, anyway, Dawnshard. I gave it a 5.
I think I gave it a 5 as well. I don't know if it's actually a 5.
I gave it a 5. I just thoroughly enjoyed this, start to finish.
Yeah.
I ate it up. I thought it was great. So, again, I don't know if this is right, but I always rate a book based on what it is. Like when I read, I'm reading that Thomas Jefferson biography right now by John Meacham. I'm not rating it the same way I rate Oathbringer. Like, I'm rating it for what it is. I picked up a Thomas Jefferson biography. I'm not expecting to have the experience I had when I had Oathbringer. So if I don't feel the same when I finish it, that doesn't necessarily mean it's not getting a 5-star rating because it's, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it makes more sense, like, in a sense of, like, Oathbringer is fantasy and not nonfiction. So, like, I would definitely, like, rate things differently that are nonfiction to fantasy.
Yeah.
But within fantasy, like, I'm rating everything the same.
Yeah, I guess what I meant when I was saying that in regards to Dawnshard was, like, it's a novella. So there's not as much room for, like, development, and there's not as much room for crazy stuff to go down.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting, like,
this one was a lot better than Edge Dancer.
Yeah, it was better than Edge Dancer.
And it is still, though, dude, do you feel like he gets a little YA with the novellas? It feels a little more lighthearted. I mean, this one less so than the previous one, but
I didn't feel that
maybe
way,
it's just the characters.
I've never read a YA book, so I don't. When you say that, I'm just kind of have this thing in my mind of like, oh, it's just kind of like,
dude, Edge Dancer. Just the vibes of like the humor in it is like really silly, and I don't know. I don't even really know what because I don't. It's just when you read it, you just know it. It's like there's just this. You feel like this isn't for adults. Like this is for kids.
I didn't feel that way with Dawnshard. I felt maybe I feel like I'm looking at it from a different perspective. I just felt like it was the next thing in Stormlight, and I love Stormlight. So I didn't even.
Stormlight's just so much like heavier. Like you feel it more. I know they're like longer books too, but
I think that's
it's not written in the same style. I just feel like he has a different style when he writes these. It doesn't feel like the same style to me. I don't feel like I'm reading an interlude chapter, which are shorter, but still feel more serious, if that's what I'm saying. Like there's just a lot of comedic relief in these.
I feel like the reason you may feel that way, maybe this is wrong again, or this is just, I don't want to say it's the reason you feel this way, but what I'm thinking when you say that is that Edge Dancer, your POV mainly was Lift, who I can understand her being a YA character for sure, and then one of your POVs in this was the Lopen, who's constantly cracking jokes. Like it's kind of a character development thing he has in the end. which we'll get to that when we get to it. But so I feel like that's maybe why you're getting that vibe, because it's focusing on characters that are more like liable to have comic relief.
Those are those kind of characters. Like,
but I feel like Lopin's not a YA character necessarily. I just feel like he's kind of like.
Well, I think if he's the main character, he is. It's a YA story if he's the main character. That's why in
But
Stormlight,
he's not the only character. I mean, Ryan's in this too, or Risen,
yeah, but
whatever.
Him and Risen, or however you say her name, are definitely the two main characters.
But I feel like she's not a YA character.
No, she's not. But like when one of the main characters is like that, you know. Because, yeah, she's definitely not. And that's what I'm saying. This one felt less so than the other one.
Right.
I mean, it's just, that's why you don't build, like, fantasy series around Lopin.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's not, like, you just can't take it serious. Like, it's not, like, something where the stakes aren't as high. Like, I don't know. It's just different. You read any of Joe Abercrombie's books or, like, any of, like, there's humor, but it's, like dark.
Yeah, because there's humor in Stormlight, but it's, like, it's way different when Cal, like, Dalinar laughs at a joke or something. Like,
yeah, it's more witty than
more witty,
silly. Because Lopin's just kind of silly. He's like, I don't know any one-legged jokes, and it's like,
But see, I get
which
more
is still
than
good. It's just
I get
not
more
like
of a when I read it, dude. I hear like a
which I did rate 5, but
I hear instead of hearing like a silly like kid kind of vibe, I get like a real like redneck vibe from the Lopin. Is more what I
don't get that at all. Wow.
Like I get more of a maybe redneck's not right, but like really like. And again, it's not like he's dumb, but like his manner of speaking is just like very layman. You know what I mean? Like very. I don't know if utilitarian's the right word either, but just like I feel like the Lopin in this world is a dude that's working on.
Bro, why do you keep saying
side.
D, bro?
Because that's what he says.
Yeah, but because he's an idiot. That's why he's saying that. It's not his name. Isn't actually the Lopin. Like, dude, come on. At first, I thought you were being funny. The first time you did it, I'm like, dude, stop saying.
I read it so many times that way. I don't know. I didn't realize.
I can't believe he got people to call him that either in the book. That's also just another like thing that's like, okay. I mean, it's I'll go along with it because it is Brandon Sanderson and it's adding depth to the Cosmere. But dude, if freaking Mistborn has the vibe that's in this, I'm gonna be pissed. That's all I'm saying, dude. Because it's a thing where like once you've read, which I know you've seen, like the Song of Ice, the Game of Thrones series, none of that's happening in there.
Yeah.
And it's still really good. I don't know. It's just a thing I get, this feeling I get. Like once you kind of have that feeling, it's almost the kiss of death. Because then like it's really tough to, and it's one of those things. It's like if I had to describe it and say it's so elusive, it's just more of a vibe than like, oh well, Lopin's making jokes. It's like, nah, it's just, I know that's part of it, but it's not.
Story.
It's just, I swear he writes it differently. And I think it's probably because it has to be condensed.
Yeah.
But the thing is he does, I don't know, like I guess my only comparison, like I said before, is like you read an interlude chapter and you read this. Like, dude, what happens in this book I feel like is insane, but yet it still almost doesn't feel insane. Because the stakes don't seem, I don't know why, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't
if
feel
this
that way,
would
but
have
I know what you're
happened,
saying.
like, if this would have been an interlude, I'd be like, dude, what? I mean, because I was already like, what just happened?
Yeah.
But like, just the like, oh,
Like,
everybody's
kinda
gonna be
pulled you out of it.
okay.
Yeah.
You know, we all got safe and nothing really bad happened, and we're all good, guys. Like,
yeah, people do get killed. It's just people you don't know them.
Yeah, I mean, who are these people? You know,
I mean, bro,
like,
you can't be killing off the Lopin in a freaking novella.
He's a minor character, so it's like you could. I mean, not that I'm saying him, but like, what about an even more minor character in his cousin?
Yeah,
yeah,
could have
like,
killed him.
I mean, I'm just saying, not
but
that you
it was
have to
still
kill
sick
people.
that he ended up getting that.
Yeah, that was cool, and it was funny too with how like he ties in Lopin getting his third ideal and stuff. Like, I mean, it's not that I didn't like that. It's just because to me, like, I rated it 5, but honestly, like, I saw you went back and re-rated Dorian Gray. Like, I'm probably gonna go back and re-rate this a 4. I mean, but again, I still thought it was good. It's just like, it's more the only reason I thought it was good was because what happens at the end and the implications that I know are probably gonna be like huge for later on in the series.
Yeah. I don't feel the same way you do about this particular book, but I can agree that like if an entire 1,300 page Stormlight entry was this vibe, or like the whole Stormlight archive was like this, I would not be near as into it for sure.
No,
it would feel more like, I think it would still be good, but it wouldn't be as good
because that's how In the Shadow of Lightning by Brendan McClellan, that's how it felt for me. Like it was good, like how this was good.
Okay.
But like that's why I went afterwards. Like I rated it a 5 at first because it was good, but like I can't tell you why. It just doesn't feel as like adult fantasy to me. And like I guess it's more because I do like the more dark, like real problems. Not like, and I guess it's tough because real problems happen in that, but it's just, again, it's more of like a way.
Yeah. I
mean, I don't know enough about literature, like as far as I'm not a literature major to like really break down exactly why those are. It's more just when I'm reading it, it's like the world I'm getting put in. Writing. Yeah, the world I'm getting put in just doesn't feel as like grungy and like, oh man, you got to watch out. Which again, like so many people die in that series. It's just, so it's not a death thing. So I can't even point to that. I really don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on what it is. It's just, it's something. But again, it was still good, especially with what happens. Which hopefully you understand more of what happens, because dude, I'm like,
I mean, I don't fully understand, but I get
like, what does this mean?
I understand the implication. I think.
I think I do, but I also don't know. I mean, anyway, or so we in. I
mean, we've already said things that spoiler. We already talked about.
This will be a full
this
spoiler.
whole thing.
We won't even do.
I mean, it's a short book, so it's a novella after 3 books in a series. You should not be watching this if you haven't read the Stormlight.
Which, to give the stats, it's only has 50,000 reviews, 4.47. I was wanting to see if there's a map in here of the island. Is there?
I don't think there's anything in there.
Not. Dude, that sucks. That was the only thing, because I read this on my Kindle. Jesse obviously has his physical copy. Bro, the fact this is 200 pages is insane. The word break in this is hilarious. But, so what...
So, summary of the book, and again, I mean, we've already kind of spoiled things.
It goes with the theme of Treasure Island, another little ship adventure. We didn't do it on purpose, but... But
I really liked where it went. So... In Oathbringer, you get an interlude of a soulcaster and these other random people trying to go to Akina in Amia, which is the island and country that Dawnshard takes place in.
Yeah.
And they have a cook on board, which is meant for later, but there's a cook on board. When they arrive and get there, the soulcaster starts trying to get some of those like rocks out of the water so they can get close. She turns around and everybody's like falling overboard and like dying. She starts to get a little woozy, gets on the island. As she falls down and realizes she's about to die, the cook walks up and you find out the cook is
Long John Silver.
I gotta go, dude. I don't want to do the podcast anymore. She finds out that the cook poisoned them and is one of the Sleepless, which is the things made of Kremlings. And so that's just an interlude. You just go like, what just happened? So the soulcaster dies, all these characters die, you don't really know what's going on. So cut to Dawnshard. This is after Oathbringer. It's actually months after Oathbringer. And you get cool little, which I love this kind of stuff. You get cool little references to the things. So like everybody knows that Jasna's queen now. Shadesmar is a thing that people all over the country have kind of heard whispers about. So it's like cool to see like other parts of the world and like just people in the world that would never hear from. You get to see a perspective of them, like, oh, like King Dalinar and Queen Navani, and Aretharu, Queen Jasna of Elithkar, which I know we got to be careful again because I still haven't read Rhythm of War, and you have like, what are they talking about? Is she in Elithkar? Like, what's going on?
Who?
I don't know. Jasna. Or is she just queen of a place that she's not at in Aretharu? You can't say.
I can't. I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler. I thought that happened at the end. So she replaces Elithkar.
Yeah, I know that.
She's queen.
But I'm saying
of the whole like region, whereas
the whole region, whereas Kholinar is just a place in Elithkar.
Well, not Kholinar. She's or what?
Well, that's what I was referring to when I said that.
Sorry.
I thought like,
Aretharu,
why is she not in Kholinar?
Navani is the queen of Aretharu. In Dalinar is only the king of Aretharu. That's like how they kind of.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, so what were you saying?
I was
You're
thinking
saying, where
Kholinar.
is she?
I was thinking why, like, is she in Kholinar or is she like still in Aretharu? It doesn't matter. I just had I was thinking I was conflating Kholinar with Elithkar as a whole. But Kholinar is just a city. It's the capital city of Elithkar.
I thought it was the other way around.
Kholinar is the capital city of Elithkar. She's the queen of Elithkar. But I was thinking Kholinar was Elithkar, so I was wondering why is she how is she back in Kholinar? It fell. So what is she the queen of? But I forgot it's all of Elithkar.
Yeah.
So she's above
region of the people.
She's above Dalinar and Navani. Mm-hmm. So they're like kind of like a sub king and queen of just Aretharu.
Yeah.
Fist me, bro. So anyway, you start out Dawnshard and basically it starts with Ryan. Another interlude you get in Oathbringer is when they steal that gemstone that Dalinar ends up using to capture the Thrill. It's Ryan who is down like in Thaylen City trying to protect her or wherever they're at.
Yeah.
That's how she gets paralyzed, is when they steal that thing. So when you get her in Dawnshard, she's paralyzed.
Wait, what? She gets paralyzed before
I'm sorry,
that.
she gets paralyzed way before that in Words of Radiance.
I was about to say, did I miss that?
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm really butchering
I can't
it
wait
here.
to go back though and read. Like as I'm doing this, like obviously there's so much stuff there's so much information when you're first reading the series where you're just like
and stuff
just trying
gets
to pick
jumbled
up
together
whatever.
just like that.
Well, it's like, all right, if you're not going to pick up Ryan, that's probably it's good that you didn't pick up that instead of like something else that's way more important. But
then
like,
you read Dawnshard and you're like, crap.
Well,
I
yeah, but it's
picked up
just
Ryan.
like you could have not read Dawnshard and you're still probably good. So it's like
I don't know, man. I feel like what happens at the end of Dawnshard is going to be extremely important later.
it is, but there's no way he doesn't like reveal that in there because I just feel like I don't know. I've never really read novellas.
But see, I feel like it would be
time.
like Warbreaker. Like you didn't lose anything by not reading Warbreaker and finishing the Stormlight archive, but now that you've read Warbreaker, you know that it would have had a little more of an impact for you.
Oh, for sure. It has more of an impact, but it's not like necessary to read. I mean,
Yeah.
I would read them if you're going to do it. Because like if you're already going to invest this time, you might as well. This is going to take you a day.
Yeah, for sure.
But
so,
more just like I can't wait to reread it because then it's like when I'm reading these interlude chapters, I'm sure going to pick up way more. It's more of those things like through the reread whenever that happens. Where it's like, oh, dude, this cobbler guy who has a sprint and gets killed by, like, you know,
by
there's
nail.
there's like those type of things. I think I'm gonna understand. It was my shoe, just way more.
There's an alien in here.
Because I remember her chapters when she's like going through the Pure Lakes and stuff now, and it's like all this stuff that I probably should have remembered.
Ryan?
Like, yeah, like with that little pot she has with the plant. Like I feel like I remember her getting that.
Yeah, the one
And
that
so-
Churi's in.
Yeah.
Churi or Churi?
I hate that name, dude.
Yeah, it's horrible. Anytime you do say something twice like that, I hate that.
Dude, another thing, it's like, dude, why do all of these names start off with 2 consonants?
Yeah, he's been doing that a lot. and it's
How
like,
you
bro,
can't say them? How do you say these names? Like half the names.
Let's get a
on
Jobin
here,
or something.
It's just like, dude, come on, bro.
Yeah, like
Anyway.
all the people that were on the ship, like the captain, like all of them.
Well, even is her name Ryan?
Yeah, RYSN.
Ryan.
Which I'm saying
Ryzen.
Ryan because it makes more.
I don't know.
Like, I'm just,
yeah, I mean, I'm
just
down.
foregoing whatever
I have
that
no
name
idea
is
where
and
it's.
calling her Ryan.
I'm not calling her anything in my mind. It's just I'm thinking of how the word's
It's like
spelled.
it's like when Dalinar would hear Evie before he had memory for you. You're just going every time her name comes up.
But that is spelled RYSN. So anyway, where were we at on it? So yeah, so it starts off after Oathbringer. The repercussions of that's happened. They don't have a lot of ships.
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing. Which he's the freaking guy. Nikilla. Is that how you would say that?
Is it spelled that way? Is it Nikila?
Niklia. Is that what you said?
Niklia?
Niklia. Dude, again. How about John?
Yeah.
Or Bob? Where's Chad?
Can we get a Susan up in here?
Like, come on, man. But anyway, he's not in. He gets assigned to her afterwards, I'm assuming, as her assistant, as Ryzen's, whatever the hell her name is.
Yeah, I don't remember how he ends up showing up. Like, I think that she mentioned that she had a few people before, like, fill that position and, like, didn't like it.
Did someone get killed? Maybe someone get killed during that whole, like, when they steal
Maybe that's what
the
happened.
Lightweaver thing happens and they steal the ruby?
Maybe that's what happened.
Maybe, I don't know. Anyway.
But, so yeah, you're starting out with Ryan getting a summons from Navani, and you kind of get the backstory of Ryan's been, like, you know, she's in a wheelchair and, like, the kind of the progress of that. So, like, you obviously can understand it would suck to be
Did you
paralyzed.
think she was going to not be paralyzed by the end? Low-key, I thought.
I thought maybe, like, if they make her a radiant.
That'd be too easy.
Yeah, but that's the exact thought I had. If she ends up being like a radiant or something, it's like, man, are no characters not going to be radiants? Like, is Adeline really going to be the only one that can't fly out of everybody?
All the other radiants can't fly.
I know. I was just being hyperbolic.
Okay,
and, I mean, I'll take any of those orders, honestly. But so yeah, I figured something would happen. I did think, and it ends up kind of happening, I did think they would figure out a way for her to be more mobile, because she was already talking about having a chair with big wheels, and it's like, yeah. And I was like, maybe somehow they're going to get something. And I literally thought maybe somehow she'll use Stormlight to, like, or a Fabrial to where she doesn't have to work so hard.
I don't know how you feel about, like, all the conversations in this book about, like, how You say Fabrials. In my mind, I say Fabrials. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah.
I
But
say
anyway.
Fabrials.
If you don't like that type of conversation, you're gonna hate Rhythm of War, bro.
What type of conversation?
About the research of the Fabrials and like how they work and.
Oh, dude, I'm cool with that. That sounds lit.
There's hella of that in Rhythm of War.
Dang. So it gets a little
like a lot.
Like fantastical science fiction-y.
Kinda. I mean, he doesn't go deep. He goes deep enough to where it's like, okay, I guess I can see how that's working. Like just how he does in here. Like it's a good prep into.
Yeah.
Like the Ardent's really important. Navani's super important in this next one. With like her new advancements and things.
I like Navani a lot, so I'm looking forward to that.
You'll like her a lot more, I think, too, after Rhythm of War. She's a huge character in Rhythm of War.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, it does get a little not dense, but there's a lot of conversation about how it's working and like what they're doing and stuff. So did you think that Nicola guy? I'm just gonna say Nicola.
I think I was saying Nicola.
Nicola.
Which is dangerous.
Nicholas. Dude, I wasn't even thinking about
Brandon.
I'm not really going to say it like that anymore. It's tough, dude.
Nicola.
Yeah. So anyway, did you see him being...
No.
I think I did after a certain point, obviously, when it becomes pretty obvious.
Yeah, I mean, once he says it, I'm like, oh, wow.
Oh, now he is.
Now.
Yeah, that's facts.
I did
Well, because it was like, who else is screwing with them?
Yeah, well,
because I knew it wasn't Cord.
Yeah, once they started getting screwed with, I was like, all right, something. Yeah. Like I feel like it makes the most sense for it to be the guy that's closest to her and chirping in her ear. So it definitely wasn't like a shock to me. But anyway, so yeah, you have Ryan getting this summons from Navani. She pulls up to Aretharu. Like you find out, and I think they're referring to Renar, and you find out she's tried to see if she could get healed by Stormlight. So anyway, she pulls up and Navani tells her like, yo, we found this ship, which is the prologue to Dawnshard, is that one ship finding the ghost ship that's from the interlude in Oathbringer. So like, we found it. There's reason to suggest they were searching for Akina and Amia.
Dude, shout out to Yalb or whatever his name being in that. You remember him?
Oh yeah, Yalb. Yeah.
From the whole first part with Shallan, he's the one who helps her get to...
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I thought I knew that name. I was like, where is he? And I think he mentions it that makes you realize who he is. But...
Yeah, I mean, I had to go through, like, it was only when I was, like, rereading, like, the prologue that I realized, oh, yeah, that's that guy who I guess somehow survives, though, when Jasnig is glad.
Yeah, how did he do that? But, I mean, Shallan absolutely savaged every one of them on that ship. Like, friend and foe alike, just disappeared the ship in the middle of the ocean. Yeah. So he's lucky to be alive. But, so they find the ship. Navani wants a crew to go, like, try to find it. They realize that, like, Radiants are getting Stormlight drained out of them because they sent people out there before, and Radiants, like, fell into the water.
That's such an OP type of thing, too, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, which is good. I feel like that adds a lot to the story to know there are things out there that could just completely drain our boys of Stormlight.
And they're small flies almost. I mean, they're not, but, I mean, that's how...
The ones in the water weren't, but yeah. But anyway, so she agrees to it to go out there for him. Like, she wants to go on a little adventure and whatnot. So the Lopin and his cousin Huo are chosen. You get a little bit of Kaladin at the beginning as well, like talking to Lopin.
Yeah.
Which I get, again, to go back, like, I get what you're saying about Lopin, but like that beginning scene where he takes that like the king's like right hand man or whatever, to like take him, he flies him up, and like. He kind of doesn't understand why this would, like, later, why Kaladin's like, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, it seems like you're trying to intimidate. And even the guy says to him, like, are you trying to intimidate me? And he's like, no. So it does make you think, like, I just see him as, like, kind of, not that all rednecks or hillbillies are dumb, but I see him as, like, a dumb, like, mountain person or redneck. And that's why he talks the way he does, and that's why he just doesn't see things. He has, like, such a very positive, like, outlook. I feel like a lot of the time, like always trying to make everything positive, so it's hard for him to see the negativity in a lot of what he does, which is why he has that character development later in the book.
Yeah.
But anyway,
which I felt like was a stretch, dude.
It was a little bit of a stretch for me. That's what I was going to say when we get towards the end. Like, that was, and we can say it now, his whole character development, and that's how he gets his third ideal so far was the weakest ideal I've heard so far.
It was kind of cool, but it's like he's not hurting others.
He's not hurting others. He's never said one line and me thought, oh, he's kind of like being a dick. I've never thought that.
No, I haven't either.
So I was kind of like,
everyone, if anything, he's like kind of self-deprecating.
Yeah.
So
he's like making fun of the fact that he used to have a nub for an arm, and like the whole time he's like, yeah, I guess he's making jokes like with Ryan in her wheelchair, but she likes it. She feels like he's the only person that will treat
he's
her
also
like a person.
Making it like a we thing, not like a you thing.
When she knows he understands because he used to be
he had one arm.
He had one arm. So
because he had straight up one arm, he didn't have a nub.
Reach. Oh, it turns into a nub as he gets Stormlight. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that was a big reach for me. I was like, bro, Kaladin's out here like just absolutely suffering to make these ideals happen, and Lopin's just like, I won't say mean jokes, has a shard blade all of a sudden. Like,
that's what I'm saying, dude. It's
all right. Now that we're talking about some of these things,
it's still good, but it's just not.
I'll give you that.
There's
that
not
part's
the heavy weight of it. Again, with the Ryan, hers is definitely more. It's more of the like you feel bad for her because she just feels like such a liability and wants to be able to like do all of these things for herself, but and like prove herself. It's more that like. I am still valuable, and she's like trying to prove that to herself, but and to other people too. Yeah. So it's that like double dagger of she's still like has so much self-doubt, but at the same time is she can't even show that, or else she's not being a good leader on her ship.
Yeah.
And so like the very end, especially the nod of the captain, who's kind of like she's kind of mean and doesn't really believe in her. You can tell her kind of hitting her with the nod of like, I think it's time for you to like put your hand on the wheel or whatever, you know.
At the end,
like those type of things are more, that's what kind of makes it less to me than Edge Dancer.
Like less YA.
Yeah,
feeling.
Which I guess when I think about Edge Dancer, there is still the other half is not at all like the half with Nail and the Skybreaker.
Yeah, the second half of Edge Dancer.
Well, just that whole side of it.
Well,
not
then there's also
like with Wendell and.
I mean, there is the Sleepless in Edge Dancer, which is kind of creepy, bro. Like that's a kind of a.
That's a really dude. I'm so glad like we get to know more about that because that's stuff that's bros. I mean. When I'm grabbing at the sand of Stormlight and there's ish just falling out, that's part of that
Sleepless
stuff that's falling
is
out.
part of it.
Yeah.
Well, and then,
so I'm glad I got more like context of that.
Yeah.
And how they're, dude, because I mean, then you're really getting like, all right, what's going on? Because they're trying to protect.
They're not talking about Roshar. They're talking about the Cosmere.
They're like, look, we're trying to save everybody by doing
like,
this.
If this
so,
gets out in the wrong hands, the entire Cosmere
which
is done.
Totally makes sense. And again, another thing that I thought was weak, I mean, it kind of makes sense, and I kind of get it.
Is that her negotiating?
Yeah, dude, they should have killed him, 100%, bro.
Well,
and I get it, like, okay, they're just going to send more people. All right, then you kill them, too. Like, it's just, if the whole Cosmere is on, they don't know her.
But it kind of makes sense now. The only reason it made sense for me, because I felt the same, I was like, is she really going to negotiate with these ancient gods? The only reason I get it now is because when Huo gets his Spren Hammer and does his third ideal, I mean, he whoops that thing's butt. So it makes you think, like, maybe because there's Radiance now, that's why they're really convinced. Because they're like, we can't fight off Radiance. No, well, I mean, he had. I mean, he ran out of it, but he had
That's
some.
What I'm saying. Like, they were screwed.
Yeah, but
if they would have kept pushing, like,
but you would think, like, okay, if we kill 2 Radiants and, like, whatever, maybe Dalinar Kholin sends every Radiant over here and they figure out a way to get, like, through here with a bunch of Stormlight.
They can't right now, dude.
But they don't know that, the Sleepless necessarily.
I feel like they probably do. If they understand Cosmere implications, they know what Odium's doing on. I'm sure that's probably why.
We don't know that. Their Cosmere implications could be just because of the Dawnshard.
Yeah, but if they can talk internally amongst everyone that's in Roshar, how would they not know?
I mean, Odium specifically only shows himself to who he chooses to show himself to.
No, I'm talking about, but dude, everyone in Roshar, this isn't like, I don't know if like you've gotten the context, and maybe it's just.
Wait, no, I get that. Everybody knows what's going on now. Like,
Odium's taking over the world, dude.
Yeah.
It's not like a small region. It's the world.
I know.
So it's like.
But I don't know if their concern is like. I mean, it could be, but I don't know if their concern is necessarily just about Odium. Like, maybe it is
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they would know that they don't have the resources to just send people that way. I mean, that's why they have to send her, because they don't even have the ships to really spare.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At least that's my, like, way of looking at it. And I guess, too, it is kind of unfair because I have read Rhythm of War. So, like...
Yeah. So you know more than the Sleepless.
They keep taking L's, bro. They're not taking W's in Rhythm of War, bro. So like it gets worse.
Either way, it's still a plausible thing to think at some point a bunch of Knights Radiant could come over here.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if that would be plausible for them, but they at least for a minute were able to fight. And who knows what
they'd have
happened.
to bring them on a ship because they were saying that a bunch of Night Radiants went and they got drained and had to come back, right?
Yeah.
But more so, I do think it's cool that they're going to be trained to like be, because I mean, obviously they could be a huge weapon.
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean,
it also makes you wonder.
Kill them. Like, I mean,
makes me wonder too, like way down the line, like, is that going to end up being good for the good guys or not? Because like that's the good thing I like about Stormlight, and it's opening up more and more as the story goes on, is like there's not just Dalinar's side and Odium's side. There's the Sleepless side. There's the the Shinovar, which we know nothing about. Who knows what they want?
Cultivation probably has a side.
Yeah, there's cultivation. Yeah, I mean there's all sorts of things where not
whatever
everybody's
Wit's side
up,
is,
whatever Wit cares about. And then there's Zeth, who just right now follows Dalinar, but which again we can't get back to Oathbringer. But anyway, so I know I guess we're jumping around a little bit, but I mean, on the ship basically they start having the omens or whatever, and it's one of the Sleepless trying to get them to turn back. They don't. They have Cord with them, which is Rock's daughter, and she's a sighted. They call her that. So there's a name for what the Horn Eaters. I don't know if it's just like the Horn Eaters or whatever. And you do get a lot of more information about that. Before I say that, they bring Cord because she can see Spren. So that ends up being very useful, specifically with the Lux Spren.
You get more context too, at least for me, about what happens with Rock. And I mean, I know I kind of spoiled it. Like he goes back.
You didn't. Like I was
now. He has to go back. But I guess you don't actually see. He hasn't like left yet to go back.
Yeah.
Which obviously that happens like early in Rhythm
But now
of War.
I'm expecting it to happen. So,
but he's only going back because of his like the honor of like he killed someone and he's not supposed to. So he has to go back for judgment, which is just like.
It's like, bro, get over it. You're a freaking squire.
You have and you have shards, bro. Like you be sharded up.
Yeah.
But I did like Cord's perspective a lot. She was probably my favorite character in this.
Yeah, probably. She was great.
Just because it gives you more of that, like, it gives you more depth to the world.
Yeah, well, that was the thing I was going to say. Like, you find out that the whole thing that makes the Horn-Eater Peak so important is its cultivation's perpendicularity.
Oh, I didn't even catch
Perpendicularity, which is, they talk about that in Oathbringer. That's like her way of getting into Shadesmar.
Oh, okay.
And they say it's a portal to the world of the Spren, of the gods. And so that's a way into Shadesmar.
I think it's just their Oathgate, though, is it not?
No, it's not an Oathgate. It's cultivation's perpendicularity. They say that.
So
because Sleepless, the Sleepless ends up saying to Cord, like, we know, like, what you guys have done in protecting cultivation's perpendicularity. And she tells Ryan at one point on the ship, like, because Ryan tells her, like, you really don't have anything to be worried about with this war.
Yeah, and it's
nobody wants to
Oathgate.
go to the Horn-Eater Peaks. No.
It's because they have an Oathgate.
No, it's not.
They do have an Oathgate.
Well, they might have an Oathgate, but the reason she's saying people will end up wanting to come there is because they can go to Shadesmar through the portal.
Yeah, through an Oathgate. That's what Oathgates are for, is to go to... You can use the Oathgate to go into Shadesmar.
But
that's
they
how they get pulled back
called
in.
this one cultivation's perpendicularity. Like it's her portal into Shadesmar. So I don't think Oathgates can just do that. They've only ever done that when one messed up in Oathbringer so far.
They can't.
I'm saying at this point in the story, that's all you know, and you find out that that's specifically cultivation's perpendicularity. That's literally what they say.
No, I'm not saying that they don't say that. I mean, I didn't catch any of that. I just remember her saying that they have an Oathgate, which, I mean, again, I knew because I've read Rhythm of War, but like that's why they care, is because they're trying to secure all the Oathgates. That's the only reason they're even going to this other island.
Yeah, I get that.
And that's what she's saying.
The point I'm saying is the point of like them saying that, and the thing I got from it is that it's specifically cultivations. Like it's her world into the like world of the gods. And I mean, obviously I haven't read Rhythm of War, but the way they presented it, I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. The way they presented it is like it's different. Like you can just walk through it. Like it's not. It doesn't need to just be operated by shards. But she does mention that her father has shards, but he doesn't want to use them, and maybe that's why. It's because he doesn't want the Oathgate to ever be opened. I don't know.
No, yeah, maybe.
But
I mean, the only reason why Roshar cares about, the only reason she brought it up to her though is not because of some perpendicularity thing. It's because of the Oathgate.
That was said by the Sleepless. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what the point I was trying to make is the Sleepless is the one that called it culture's perpendicularity or cultivations.
Yeah, I completely missed that.
Yeah.
But
Which
no,
I don't know what that means, but
I guess it is a spoiler
cool.
then if you didn't know that. I mean, that's what the Oath Gates are.
It's like a different.
Well, I mean, that's how they get into Shadesmar.
Well, I know that, but you're saying it's like a different god's perpendicularity.
No, like it's just Shadesmar. Like there's two worlds. There's Roshar and then there's Shadesmar.
Yeah, I get that.
So I don't know what this. That's what I'm saying. I didn't read. I missed that part.
Yeah, I don't.
And
either.
that's not like something that
it's just not brought up ever again.
Well, I mean, that's not something that is. I'm sure like there's probably just because there's so much content. Like maybe it's sprinkled, but I mean, like a lot of time is spent in Shadesmar and Rhythm of War.
Or maybe it's that they're all cultivations perpendicularity, and she's just the one that her power is where all the Oath Gates stem
Probably.
from.
I still don't really understand cultivation, to be honest with you.
I feel like the way he said it was that the Horn Eater one was like has a specific like different kind of purpose or something special about it, which is why he said it.
Why? Who said it?
The Sleepless.
I don't really remember any.
Leah.
So why did he bring it up to her again?
All he said is he was just like in passing, like
you protected something. I can't remember if it was
before or after, but he like says to her like, we didn't want to kill any Radiants, especially not a sighted, and he's referring to Cord because she can see Spren. And then he says, we appreciate like what you and your family has done to protect cultivation's perpendicularity. That's what he says.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they definitely have more of a respect for Spren. So, like, maybe that's like something.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously because Rock, like, calls Syl like a god. And they're, like, super respectful. Like, they have a different vibe. And, like, obviously it's kind of their culture and what makes them different, too.
But it makes you wonder what, like, the Sleepless are to the Spren. Like,
I don't understand.
Like what's the leveling and like?
Well, again, it has to be more than just Roshar and Shadesmar, which again, like maybe Shadesmar is.
It's got to be now
something, but like, is Shadesmar just in Roshar? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Probably not.
Well, I mean, I guess Shadesmar is. Well, I mean, I'm sure there could be a version of it, but I mean, it is a replication of Roshar because, like, where it's land, it's water. You know what I'm saying?
But it has to be Shadesmar. If there's a connection in the Cosmere, it has to be through Shadesmar to whatever
is how people are getting to
other
Roshar.
Versions of Shadesmar. Yeah,
or like from another planet, like how Wit and Azor and Zahel, like they have to have a way to get here. So it's got to be through there. But
makes you wonder if Jasna could end up being a world hopper like Wit.
Dude, I can't say anything about Jasna, bro.
Okay.
She is the one, though.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, we already said it last time. I mean, she's just so sick.
She's
she like, it does suck that a lot of her stuff is like off page.
Yeah. But I feel like I get it because it's like she's so like almost.
It almost
OP.
adds to it.
Yeah, she comes out of nowhere and just starts whipping in and out of Shadesmar and walking up steps like Legolas as she's creating them. Like
it adds to her like mystique of like, why is she so much better than everybody else?
And I feel like it's really gonna really amp you up and make whenever her book comes out where she's like the flashback one.
I hope.
I mean, it has to, bro.
It has to. I don't know what, dude. I just don't know what's gonna happen in the next book, dude. The next book, because of the way Rhythm of War ends, bro. I wish that like, I guess that's what I'm excited to learn. Like, so what do you think this Dawnshard stuff is?
So yeah, just skip to the end. What I thought was like, oh, that's like a command from like someone like Susbron. That's what I got,
about
bro.
It like that.
I got that this somehow is a command.
Yeah, because it did say
world.
Command like in a different like font. Yeah, you know what I mean.
And it's like talking to them, so it's like it's almost like a command that was like the way that the breath and stuff works, like the way Nightblood was created. It was like a command that was given this, like just a command alone given sentience, and maybe it's because it's not an object. Like it was imbued in an object, but now it's just in Ryan's brain. Like it's in her. Yeah. So it's like what. I don't know, dude. It felt like it was a command.
But dude,
for some reason, I immediately
now
felt like it was Susbron for some reason.
But it makes sense, like that, like the connection you're making, because then, like towards the end, it gives you those little droplets of like, why does it sound like she's kind of singing now? Why do these colors look? You know what I'm saying? I didn't even think about that until you said that.
Yeah.
I guess it can't be that simple though, right?
Well, it's got to be. There's got to be more to it, like what its purpose is and like what it means, but. It's definitely a command from the world of Warbreaker. Sure. Because the Sleepless says that's a command from a god. So it makes you think, is it Susbron? And who knows? Maybe Susbron's too like maybe it's from way in the past before Susprong, but that's what I thought of was our boy has that tongue, and now he's sending commands to other planets. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But what is the command?
So I just remember seeing when my dad, like I read the last page of The Way of Kings, and it's the visions that Dalinar's having, and it's talking about how, like, you need the Dawnshard. To be able to kill a god, you need, like, the Dawnshards. Like, I think
Right,
it's
I
like a
forgot
plural
about that.
type of thing.
Yeah.
Where it makes it almost seem like each planet maybe has something that makes it more specific. I don't know. I mean, these are all just kind of stabs in the dark. But I just remember reading, it might be legit, the last page in The Way of Kings. Let me see if I can find it.
Go ahead and find that real quick.
Because it was something where it was like, wait, what? Like, what?
Wait, what's going on?
But yeah, I think it's for sure going to have some implications, because my dad was asking about him, and he's like, is that kind of like a, he was like, is a Dawnshard kind of like a shard blade?
And you were like, I have no idea.
Like,
I don't know.
you can go and Google that, Dad, because I have no idea. I'll find it and put it in later. But anyway, I'm curious to see, especially because they do kind of accuse her of, like, stealing it, and it's like, she didn't really do it. She didn't even know what was going on.
She had no clue. And the implication is that the Luxprint and everything else
that's the other thing that
brought her to it, and like the Dawnshard wanted someone to come get it, and it seemed like they wanted her specifically.
So the other thing too that I don't understand is, like, so are the Luxprint, where are they at on, like, the Sprint? I need, like, a Sprint hierarchy, like, list.
I need Brandon to release a diagram.
Because can Luxprint, like, be bonded? You know what I mean?
I don't know, because
I feel like all the ones that show in the world, like, aren't.
Well, you remember what they said about them, though, is that Luxprint are always around, like, chasm fiends, because remember how they've said in Way of Kings or something that scholars don't understand how a chasm fiend can hold itself up under its weight. Like, its weight should be too much for the muscles in its legs and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you hear the guys say, like, Luxprint are always around chasm fiends because that's how they can stand up under their weight. Which, it's like, okay, they do that, and then they lead Ryan and Cheery to Akina to find the Dawnshard. So it's like, what is their purpose here? What are they trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
Because they're the reason that chasm fiends can live, but they're also trying to lead a human to apparently the most dangerous thing on Roshar, even more so than the assassin in white with Nightblood. Like,
that's what
which is hard to believe.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. But at the same time, though, I mean, their whole, like, vibe of, like, being able to break apart and do all these things, it's like, do you just have to crush them all? Like, I don't know what you do to kill them.
You have to get all the Dawnshards in a pile, crush them up, and just Dalinar's got to just rip a gator tail.
Not the gator tail. That Kremlin gator tail. Because, dude, it's like, what? I mean, you know, obviously Cord's not trained, and she even says that. But, like, you know, she goes to, like, punch them, and they just, like, break apart and then, like, crawl on her arm. It's like, I guess if you have a shard blade and you're just, I mean, I'm sure you could probably do some serious damage. Yeah, because you're catching something.
Yeah.
But that is what's interesting. I'm curious to see how they play in, which, like, not to spoil, I mean, bro, this ain't in Rhythm of War. So it's like, but I know it's going to have to be soon because, like, just how Liv kind of, I guess it's tough because Lift is more in Oathbringer when you read Edge Dancer, you know, after, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's you read Edge Dancer and then, so maybe it is in there, and because I didn't read it, like, I like totally missed it. A whole lot about sand. Dude, because there's just some huge things that happen in there in Rhythm of War, which, I mean, dude, that's just...
Well, and this just goes to further show how deep Sanderson is. Like, there's characters that have such cool stories and these crazy things with big implications happen, and it's like not even on the top 25 things that you remember at the end of the book because so many cool things happen, which is kind of a dagger, which may, again, to go back to rereads, I feel like you almost have to read these books 2 or 3 times to fully grasp what's happening.
Dude, I can't wait. Far.
So yeah, I am really excited for that. Like, I'm really excited to get back into Way of Kings with my understanding.
Well, I can't wait to be 40 and read the 10th one and then be able to read them all again. Because, dude, what is it, like 3 years he's done in between each? About
that hurts to think about, bro, because
we're
we will
probably
actually
be
40. Dude, I hope I'm still alive, bro, when he gets done. Like, dang.
I hope he's still alive. Again, like what you said last time. Dude, is he making
that
it
kind of
another
hurt me, dude, that I just
18
realized
years?
we're going to be 40 probably when this series
Unless he
is
starts
over.
really cranking it out. He's got to chill with all these, like, freaking
Dude,
Dark Magician in England
all these projects
wizard
and
book
stuff, but he does. I've
for
watched
kids.
interviews, and
It's
he's like he likes cleansing his palette, so he likes writing something different, which I can't fault him for that. And again, at the end of the day, I wouldn't want him to rush it if it's not going to be as good.
That's true. I do wonder why, like I just thought of it now, why is there not a novella in between Way of Kings and The Words Radiance?
Well, when I listened to him talk about Edge Dancer, and I think he mentioned Dawnshard as well, he had already finished Oathbringer before he wrote this and realized, like,
Dawnshard?
yeah, like I think this still got released before, or I'm sorry, he wrote Edge Dancer after Words of Radiance was already written. I'm sorry, I'm tripping right now.
After
Oathbringer.
Yeah.
To my understanding. And then he
saying.
realized that, like, oh, this is probably going to be kind of confusing, like how Zeth and like what Nell's deal is, and like Lift just in general, like she's just going to show up in Oathbringer in Downar's
I think I do
vision,
remember
and you
you
have
saying
no
that.
idea what's going on.
Yeah.
So he realized he needed to write a novella. And it was probably something similar with this, which I don't know though, because you're saying there's nothing in Rhythm of War that you can really connect with
she
this.
Isn't. I don't think. I mean, Lopin, probably is in it, but I mean, Ryan is obviously the one who now is like, we got to protect her, bro.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing is, like, what if she dies? And then what happens to the thing? Is it just gone?
Does it just float into the ether?
Or does it go back into that rock and it's just chilling in there, or whatever was that, into that mural? Like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, and I just have more questions now, essentially.
Yeah.
But she could be, and it's just, that's not the main. I could have missed something, but that's definitely not the main thing.
That's not what's going
on
in
here,
Rhythm of
dude.
War.
No, dude. There
might be an interlude where she's, doing something weird.
If she is. She probably is. I
can't wait
remember.
to
I
get
don't
into
remember
Rhythm of War,
though,
man.
dude.
I'm
Rhythm
so
of War is
excited.
good. I mean, it's definitely not Oathbringer, but I mean that one chapter, bro, hits hard.
I almost have a slight feeling that I might end up liking it just as much, just because.
You might.
Like, who knows?
I just can't wait for you to read the ending, man. The ending is just like.
So it's the craziest ending of any of them.
Oh, dude. Like just, and it's really more like the last chapter. It's like legit the last chapter, and then.
Does it involve a specific
epilogue?
character?
Yeah.
That something crazy happens with?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I can't wait.
Dude,
if you told me the character, would it be like a spoiler? If you told me just who the character is?
It's between two characters, something that happens. I'm already saying way too much. I gotta chill out. Because I already want to tell you so bad. Now that like we're getting into it, it's like.
Oh,
I just want to yell it out, dude. But dude, you wouldn't even
believe me.
Is
it Kaladin and Adolin and Shallan?
What if it was? What if I was like, what if you read it
hyping me up for this and it's just a threesome in the last chapter? You're like, bro, it changes everything.
It's a hard love triangle. They're in a polyamorous relationship.
Oh, that would be tough.
That would be tough. But no, it's not that. But it is, again, like I've said before, like and then whoever has like read Rhythm of War, they're probably laughing like, listen to this. But if I told you what it was, like if I were to like, if we were like hanging out and I was like, wouldn't it be funny if Brandon Sanderson did this? You'd be like, nah, ha, ha.
Like I wouldn't even take it.
You
seriously.
wouldn't believe me. You would not believe me. Like that's how it's like. What?
No way, dude.
So
all right, well, let me ask you this: do you like what happened?
I don't know. I have no idea. But it's because it happened so fast at the end. Like
you're just like, huh?
I need more. I can't. I'm so curious.
Does it involve death or does it involve like Cosmere implications?
I mean, both. Dude, it's crazy.
I almost just want to read the last page.
I'm curious as to.
We're gonna have a tough time getting that guy out. You might be better off getting yours. That part of the shelf is in pain.
I'll look as we're seeing. This is the third time I've grabbed a book to try and find something. So let's see if I actually find it this time.
So yeah, while you're searching for that, overall, I thought Dawnshard was really good. I really enjoyed it. Had a good time reading it. It was only like a day or two that I read it. If you've read Stormlight and not read this, you definitely should, just to get you some more Stormlight in your life. And it's a cool little. I mean, it's such an easy read. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Forgot about that. You ever just read a book and you're like, wow, that happened. Okay. Maybe it's not the last chapter. There's no way it's not. I mean, I know what happens in the epilogue with Wit, which is crazy.
How many pages is this one, by the way?
12. It's a little bit less. It's like 12, 20.
Yeah, I can't wait to get into it. I'm gonna reread Way of Kings before I do.
You probably should.
But yeah, okay. So is that Dawnshard?
Dude, can I read the last sentence?
No
epilogue?
shot, dude. Don't do it. Don't do it. Loach, don't do it, bro. Don't. I mean, it would ruin stuff for me.
It wouldn't. This is like one of those examples of that. You know that theory they were saying that like spoilers actually don't, because it's
All right, just tell me. Just do
read
it. Just do it. Just do it.
All right, if you don't want to hear this, don't listen.
End of Rhythm of War.
This is the last sentence in Wit's epilogue,
which is the very end.
This is the last sentence of the book. Oh God. After all, Wit's first face-to-face meeting with Odium in over 1,000 years has gone exactly as he had imagined.
Jesus Christ.
In over 1,000 years.
Bro, I hate you.
Oh my God.
Bro, God. Oh man.
Dude, there's so much though that happens before that. It's so crazy. Like the only reason I was willing to read that, just to preface, people are probably pissed at me online.
Matter.
There's
like
just a lot that happens. Like you still have no idea what happened before that. You know what I mean? Like something big happens. And so now, like I would say honestly that hopefully that like gets you more excited, because it's like, I mean, it does. Those are two characters that are gonna meet now, and it's like, wait, why? Why are they meeting?
But that's not the two characters you're talking about.
No, no, that's not even. That's what's crazy.
All right, if I guess the two characters right off the bat, will you confirm?
I'll give you one guess, and then I'll just say yes or no on one.
Is there any hint you could give me that wouldn't like just give it to me? You said it's completely unexpected. Like it'd be hard to put these two characters together in any scenario.
It's just what happened. I mean, kinda. I mean, yeah, kinda. Dude, God, I'm just playing so hard to pie right now.
Tell me the genders of the two characters.
I'll tell you one character. How about that?
Okay, tell me one.
Now I can't tell you anything.
Okay.
It's the guy's name. I can like never pronounce his name correctly, and then you say it, and then I can say it.
Taravangian?
Yeah.
Oh God.
He's one of them. So, and that's all I can say for now. But dude, it's
Taravangian and Kaladin?
I can't say.
Confirm. Confirm or deny.
I can either confirm or deny. I hope we have people watching this. I hope we have just anyone watching this. But I also hope we have someone watching that has read Rhythm of War, just because they know exactly what I'm talking about, and they're probably like, "Dude, I can't believe he's telling him all these things." But anyway, just for them.
But here's the thing, though. I will say because again, I watch spoiler videos before I go see movies, and I don't care. So like, even if you told me, I wouldn't be mad. I'd still be so excited. I mean,
all I'm saying is, something big happens with Taravangian. It's like,
which is not a surprise. Taravangian's
he's
a
out
problem
here doing
of a character.
Right now,
so. Dude, you can't tell me who the other one is?
No, dude, I can't, dude, because if I did, it was legit. I can't.
It would give away, like, implications.
Well, it would just, because you're just not expecting it. Like, I would, you know what I mean? Like, it's enough now that you're like, oh, I'm hyped. That
but it'll still be like a shock, kind of.
Yeah, it would be like, wait, what? These two? Because then it's just, I don't know, I think it would ruin some of that, whereas, like, the last sentence with Wit and Odium, I think it's more of like an excitement thing, which I mean, it probably wouldn't ruin it. I don't even want to take the chance. That one I felt more comfortable.
I'll just tell you one thing, bro, and this is all I'll say. If Adeline dies in this book, I'm going to kill you.
I don't know if this is... I can't even tell you, dude. I was going to say I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but I can't.
Tell me.
I can't tell you.
No, we're good.
That is my favorite chapter, though. So Jesse's referring to a chapter that I made a Reddit post about. I can't remember what number it is. You probably do. It's called Sacrifices.
I thought it was 69, honestly.
It might be, honestly.
I really genuinely thought that.
But anyone who's read Rhythm of War, Sacrifices is my favorite chapter in the Stormlight archive series thus far. And so Jesse's really nervous about it. But it's a good one. All it's, right. Again, my favorite one. But anyway, Dawnshard, I like the Sleepless. I kind of want to see more of the Sleepless. I hope they're involved more.
Yep, for sure.
I
want to see more of Hugo's hammer.
I kind of liked. I was going to say that I kind of liked him,
and especially even though he's so minor. Talking in her Daisian, for one thing, Lopin starts talking more normal. Yeah, but you realize that Hugo's like really smart. Like,
that is what's tough. I kind of like how he does that, honestly, because that is like a real thing, especially like for me traveling and stuff, where it's like you can. you know, I bet it's tough, like, being around someone that doesn't speak your language, like, in a comfortable way. So, like, it was kind of cool seeing Cord and, again, we're calling her Ryan, which is probably not how you call her, but, like, once they realize they both speak, like, Veden or Vinden or whatever it is.
I've been saying Veden.
Veden, sure.
So funny how we pronounce so much of it different.
It's so funny how most of, especially the names, out of legit, like I was saying, when you're talking about the Dalinar and the Evian, where Veden was like,
I'm
like, I mean, that's how half the characters are.
Like, just don't even. I'm just recognizing them by the weird spelling of their name. I mean, the captain's name was like DWLAR, like something so weird. Like, how do you do DWL?
Well, but then also her mentor is VSTIM.
Yeah. Which I'm reading that, bro, and I'm going. It's
like,
and it's probably in his mind, his name's probably Tim. Honestly, and Brandon's going, it's Tim. Obviously, the V and the S are silent in that language.
I haven't even thought about that.
That's what I do with a lot of them.
Bro, then there's a KSTLED. There is 4 consonants in a row.
Klested.
It's like, dude, come on. Like, help us out. None of the characters, and then even the one is HUIO. It's like, that one's still not like it's your Huio, I guess, or Huo, or I don't know, but it's still not like so clear in my mind. What is that?
Maybe. Huio.
I don't know. I know it's tough in fantasy, and maybe it's a hot take, but I don't like that type of stuff in fantasy, to be honest.
I don't either, man, because
I want to be able to say a guy's name and relate to, like, Dalinar, Kaladin. I like those are good ones because I can grasp those.
Easy, Adeline, they're all made
Jasna,
up names,
even though it's probably Yasna.
Yeah, whatever.
Those are all. Even Navani is a little out. Like, not, it's probably not out there, but you know, all of those. I'm glad at least the main characters have one. Yeah. He's probably doing that on purpose.
Like even Zeth, it's like, is it
that
Zeth
one is,
or is it Seth? Is it Sezeth?
That one is cool enough though to where it's like
it is cool.
You know that one.
Zeth Sun Nitaro.
Yeah. What do you even say? I don't even, dude. When I see all that, I like skip over that part. I'm just
bro. I realized, bro. I didn't in my head, bro. I was every time I saw that, I was going Zeth Sun Naruto. Every time I read it, then I was like, bro, that's not what it says. It's Naruto or something like that. But
think about that.
Yeah, to just piggyback off what you said, it kind of makes me feel like when I'm reading a book that has anything to do with like Mongolian, Asian, like even Russian culture, like a history book with a bunch of names like that, with like that aren't spelt like American stuff. I have such a tough time just remembering who's who because I can't say this name, bro.
Oh, well, when like Cord like gives her real name and starts talking it, it's like, bro, miss me with that. Like, I get it, it's for the world building, but like, are you? I'm immediately skipping over. I'm not even looking at it.
I'm not even looking, bro.
I'm like. You know what I mean?
Cool long. Like, I mean, it's like 64 character long names.
Yeah, with all consonants, WWH,
a bunch of freaking apostrophes, like 16 apostrophes.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, Brandon. Like,
but I guess it. You know, he's showing the cultural differences, which I understand, and
we're over
thankfully
here
it's just a little
absolute, bit, you know,
bigots. Like, dude,
just absolute bigots.
Make it Caucasian, Western.
Yeah. Give me that Josie Wales or nothing. Like.
Oh god,
man! So Dawnshard, I thought it was a 5. You're thinking 4.
I mean, it's still good. It's. I gave it a 5. I'll probably bump it down to a 4, but like on a scale from 10, it's an
fair.
8. Yeah. It's like in the 8s. It's probably low. It's probably right at an 8 for me.
Yeah. Whereas 1 through 3 in Stormlight are 10s.
Oh yeah, dude. They're all so good.
I mean, Oathbringer's like a 45 out of 10.
Yeah, bro. It's.
And
I honestly don't even know like what I would try and not rate something a 10 just to like leave something out there just in case, but it's like you almost like I have never read something like I've read this series again, like you mentioned before, like just the different emotion, the range of emotions that Brandon Sanderson can make you feel is just crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's so good, so immersive. The world is just amazing. I love reading these books. Read Dawnshard if you haven't. Let us know what you think about it. It's definitely worth reading if you have. My series been listening to us for a long time. I think that's it on that.
Yeah. I'm glad I've been pushed to read these because I don't know if I would have.
Yeah.
And now like it is kind of a cool. They're like Easter eggs. They're cool. Like if you like the series, which I don't know how you read this and don't, it's just so worth it. Like just because you're getting a little more extra, and it is cool how you can read this in a day.
Yeah.
Instead of like these where it's like, all right, I'm gonna strap in for a month basically and go on a ride. Whereas it's so wild how these are just so different. Yeah. So I am excited though to read Mistborn just to get another feel of what it's like. I know we read Warbreaker, but just to kind of see if any of if there's any differences in his writing that
I
we
heard
can
Launch
sense.
Is really good too. Jake and Grayson were reading that one recently, and they said it's like dark, but it's really good.
I'm all in for that.
We should get into that soon. But yeah, coming up we have We're going to do some Murderbot Diaries. I'm
Yeah.
reading a Thomas Jefferson biography by John Meacham called The Art of Power, so that one will be coming at you in, I mean, it's going to be a few weeks. It's a thickie. But, and we're reading a lot of different stuff right now.
We are.
Silmarillion, narrated by Andy Serkis, just recently dropped, so that might be a little while, but we are going to hit that. That's on the horizon somewhere.
I do need to read that book anyway.
I've read it before, and it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I'm curious to read it.
Yeah, I think you'll like it too, especially because we both like history.
I love Lord of the Rings too.
And you love Lord of the, and you've read Lord of the Rings more recently than me, so it'll probably have a little more connectivity for you. But just the beginning of the Silmarillion, it's like the genesis of Tolkien's world.
Yeah,
and it's like, it almost makes you think, bro, maybe J.R.R. Tolkien should have been God, because this is sick. I'm just kidding. Sorry,
sorry,
God.
bad. I'm sorry, God.
Sorry, God. Cornerstone. But anyway, anything else?
No, good book.
Cool.
Adds context. Who knows what this will mean later on? Who knows?
We'll find out in book 8, maybe.
Yeah, I'll hop on.
But I'm here for it all. I don't mean to sound like that's a complaint. Sanderson, I trust in you always, and you're a god. And if I could only ever read from one author ever again right now in my life, I'd pick Brandon Sanderson. So.
Oh, because he at least was writing a bunch of stuff.
He writes so much, and even if I could only pick one series, it'd take 0 seconds. I'd pick Stormlight.
Oh, dude, yeah.
So that's it. This is It's Lit Book Reviews, another one. Appreciate it if you're here. Please do like and comment. Send all this to your friends that like to read or might be interested. That's it. I'm Henry Cavill. This is Liam Hemsworth, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.